We often measure our lives by the grand milestones, the graduations, the career promotions, the weddings, the voyages to distant lands. These are the peaks that rise above the ordinary, the moments we photograph and memorialize. Yet, the true substance of our existence, the very bedrock upon which these peaks stand, is not found in these sporadic eruptions of drama or achievement. It is woven into the quiet, often overlooked fabric of the everyday, the silent, powerful architecture of our routines, our habits, and our rituals. This intricate framework, operating largely beneath the conscious level, is the invisible force that constructs our days, forges our identities, and ultimately dictates the trajectory of our lives. To understand this architecture is to grasp the levers of profound personal and collective transformation. At the most fundamental level lies a routine. A routine is the skeletal system of our day. It is a sequence of actions that provide structure and predictability. The morning ritual of waking, brewing coffee, showering, and reading the news is a routine. The evening pattern of locking doors, turning off lights, and reading a few pages before sleep is a routine. These are the automated scripts that reduce the cognitive load of countless minor decisions, preserving our mental energy for more complex challenges. Imagine the sheer exhaustion of having to consciously decide the sequence of every single action from the moment you open your eyes. The routine liberates us from this paralysis, creating a stable platform from which we can operate. It is the bass line of our personal symphony, often unnoticed, but its absence will create chaos. A well-designed routine is a scaffold for efficiency, but it can also become a cage if left unexamined, a monotonous loop that lulls us into a passive state of being. Embedded within our routines are the more potent and psychologically charged building blocks. Habits, where routine is a sequence of behaviors. A habit is an automatic behavior triggered by a specific cue and reinforced by a reward. The neurologist and author Charles Duhigg, in his seminal work, The Power of Habit, illuminates this process as a habit loop. The cue, feeling stressed, triggers a routine, scrolling through social media, which is then rewarded by a temporary distraction or a dopamine hit, thereby cementing the loop. Habits are the neural superhighways of the brain. Through repetition, complex actions become automated, freeing the prefrontal cortex, the seat of executive function and decision-making, for other tasks. This is a brilliant evolutionary adaptation, but it is a double-edged sword. Our habits, collectively, are the compound interest of self-development. The habit of daily exercise, the habit of mindful spending, the habit of expressing gratitude. These small, consistent actions accumulate into monumental differences in health, wealth, and happiness over time. Conversely, the habit of procrastination, the habit of negative self-talk, or the habit of poor nutrition work with the same relentless, compounding power, but in a destructive direction. The architecture of our character is, to a startling degree, the architecture of our habits. We do not decide our future once with a grand, sweeping declaration. We decide 100 times a day through the small, automatic choices we have wired into our neurology. Therefore, the most critical work of personal growth is not merely setting goals, but diligently and consciously engineering habit loops that will inevitably lead to them. While routines provide structure and habits provide automation, rituals infuse our actions with meaning. A ritual is a habit or routine that has been sanctified by intention and symbolism. The difference between habitually drinking coffee and performing a morning coffee ritual lies in the presence of mind. The ritual involves grinding the beans with attention, smelling the aroma, feeling the warmth of the cup, and taking the first sip of a moment of silent appreciation. The action is the same, but the consciousness behind it transforms it from a mere physiological stimulus into a mindful practice, a small ceremony of presence. Rituals are the bridges we build between the mundane and the sacred. They are the stories we tell ourselves through action. Across cultures and throughout history, rituals have provided the glue that binds communities and marks the significant passages of life. A wedding is a ritual. A graduation ceremony is a ritual. A national anthem before a sporting event is a ritual. These shared practices create a container for collective emotion, reinforcing social bonds and a sense of belonging. On a personal level, rituals can be powerful tools for navigating transition and emotion. A nightly ritual of journaling can help process the day's events and provide closure. A ritual of lighting a candle in remembrance can provide comfort and a tangible connection to a lost loved one. Rituals manage anxiety by imposing a known, meaningful structure on the unknown, be it the unknown of a new day, a new stage of life, or the profound mystery of death. They are the psychological landmarks in continuous flow of time. The most powerful and sustainable lives are those that skillfully integrate all three layers of this unseen architecture. The foundation is a supportive routine that manages the practicalities of existence. Embedded within this routine are empowering habits that automatically steer behavior toward desired outcomes. And finally, selected moments within this framework are elevated into rituals, where mindfulness and meaning are consciously cultivated. For example, a writer's day may be built on a routine of working from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Within that, they have the habit of writing 500 words before checking email. And they may begin the session with a small ritual, sharpening a particular pencil, arranging their desk, and taking 3 deep breaths to signal to their brain that it is time to enter a state of deep focus. This triad creates a life that is simultaneously efficient, effective, and deeply meaningful. To ignore this architecture is to live at the mercy of chance and external circumstance. Our routines will be shaped by the demands of others. Our habits will be formed by the cues of a distracting environment, like the relentless ping of smartphone notifications. And our lives will lack the sacred pauses that rituals provide. We become reactive rather than proactive, passengers rather than pilots. The conscious design of this architecture is therefore the most profound form of self-determination. It begins with a process of excavation and audit. What routines currently govern my days? Do they serve me or stifle me? What habits are running on autopilot? Which ones are builders and which are saboteurs? Where can I inject intention and mindfulness to transform a hollow habit into a nourishing ritual? This is not a call for a rigid, joyless existence of military precision. On the contrary, it is an argument for creating a foundation of discipline that ultimately grants greater freedom. The musician who has diligently practiced their scales habit within a daily routine is the one who experiences the true freedom of improvisation and creative flow on stage. The individual who has built routines and habits that manage their finances and health is the one who is free from the anxieties of debt and preventable illness, liberated to pursue their passions and connect with others. The structure does not confine the river. It guides its power. The unseen architecture of routine, habit, and ritual is the quiet, constant craftsman of our lives. It works in the background, in the thousand small moments we rarely celebrate, laying down the layers of our future self. To build a life of purpose, resilience, and joy, we must become conscious architects. We must pick up the tools of awareness and intention and begin to remodel this invisible framework. We must design routines that support us, cultivate habits that empower us, and sanctify rituals that deepen us. For it is in the quiet, consistent, often unnoticed patterns of our everyday lives that our true destiny is forged, brick by intentional brick, into a cathedral of our own design. This process of architectural redesign is not a single monumental decision, but a series of small, deliberate interventions. It begins with the art of keystone habit identification, a concept central to understanding habit formation. A keystone habit is a single, powerful pattern that, when established, has a ripple effect, disrupting negative routines and creating space for other positive habits to flourish. For many, regular exercise is a classic keystone habit. The act of daily running or gym attendance does more than improve physical health. It often initiates a cascade of other unconscious changes. The desire for better performance encourages healthier eating. The discipline required creates a sense of self-efficacy that makes one less likely to procrastinate at work. The endorphin rush provides a natural mood stabilizer, reducing the need for stress eating or emotional reactivity. By identifying and focusing our initial energy on a single, high-leverage keystone habit, we can leverage the architecture's interconnected nature to our advantage, triggering a widespread renovation of our daily life with a seemingly focused effort. However, the path of redesign is perpetually challenged by the formidable force of the status quo bias, our brain's inherent preference for the current state of affairs, no matter how suboptimal. The existing architecture of our lives, even if dysfunctional, is familiar and requires less immediate energy to maintain. The neural pathways of our old habits are well-paved, superhighways of automaticity. Forging new trails through the dense jungle of our neurology is cognitively expensive and feels arduous. This is why willpower is a notoriously unreliable tool for lasting change. It is a finite resource, like a muscle that tires, easily depleted by stress, fatigue, or the countless other decisions of the day. The genius, then, lies not in relying on brute willpower, but in strategically redesigning the environment to make desired behaviors easier and negative behaviors harder. This is the principle of choice architecture. A person aiming to cultivate a reading habit might place a book on their pillow each morning, make it the path of least resistance in the evening. Someone seeking to reduce social media use could delete the apps from their phone, introducing a moment of friction that allows conscious choice to intervene. A family hoping to eat healthier could pre-wash and cut vegetables, making them the most accessible snack. These are not mere tricks. They are conscious modifications to the structural blueprint of our surroundings, aligning our environment with our aspirations. We are not just building habits within ourselves. We are curating a world that supports those habits. By reducing the cognitive and physical effort required for positive actions, we can serve our precious willpower for truly unforeseen challenges, allowing our environment to do the work of steering us gently toward our better selves. Beyond the individual, this unseen architecture scales to form the collective consciousness of societal and cultural norms. What is a culture if not a vast, shared set of routines, habits, and rituals? The collective rush hour is a societal routine. The habit of shaking hands upon greeting is a cultural script. National holidays and religious ceremonies are large-scale rituals that provide temporal structure and reinforce a shared identity. These collective patterns are incredibly resilient, passed down through generations, shaping everything from economic cycles to political landscapes. They create a sense of order and predictability that allows complex societies to function. Yet, they can also be incredibly difficult to change, even when they become maladaptive. The inertia of the way things have always been done can stifle innovation and perpetuate injustice. Social progress, therefore, often involves a deliberate and collective effort to dismantle old, harmful architectural elements, such as systemic biases encoded in institutional routines, and to construct new, more equitable ones in their place. In our contemporary moment, this personal architecture is under unprecedented siege from external forces designed to hijack it. The attention economy, powered by sophisticated algorithms, is a masterclass in exploiting the habit loop. The notification-paying cue triggers a compulsive check routine, which is rewarded with a new like message or piece of information reward. Tech companies have become expert architects of involuntary habits, building their business models on the scaffolding of our dopamine cycles. Our own unseen architecture is being reverse engineered and co-opted, often without our conscious consent, to maximize engagement at the cost of our focus, mental peace, and time. This makes the conscious reclamation of our architectural agency not just a matter of personal productivity, but one of cognitive liberty. To build a life of intention in the 21st century is to engage in a form of psychological self-defense, actively installing our own firewalls against these intrusive systems. The ultimate goal of understanding and mastering this unseen architecture is not to create a rigid, robotic existence, but to achieve a state of dynamic flow. When supportive routines, empowering habits, and meaningful rituals are firmly in place, the mind is freed from the tyranny of constant micro-decisions and the drain of negative automatic behaviors. This liberated cognitive capacity can then be channeled into creativity, deep connection, and spontaneous engagement with the world. The musician no longer struggles with the fingerings. They lose themselves in the music. The writer is no longer battling the blank page. They are immersed in the story. The parent is not constantly deciding how to manage the household. They are present for the joy of their child's laughter. This is a profound paradox at the heart of this entire construct. The discipline of structure is the very gateway to authentic freedom. By willingly embracing the supportive confines of a well-designed life, we unlock the potential for unparalleled expression and experience within it. We build a cathedral not to be confined by its walls, but to have a sacred space from which